Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. It's the getting on toward the middle of March 2022. Just dodged a big storm the other day. It went all around us up here on this little mountain that we live on, but we didn't get hit too hard. And so I sat in and did some trading. Well, how less time makes more money? What do I mean by that? Well, look, the last video that I released where I talked about that I considered a $3,600 win a loss because of the time frame that money, it took me to make that money. It was almost 3 months that it took me to make $3,600. And $3,600, you know, that's a lot of money. There's a lot of people who don't make that much money a month, so that's a lot of money. And in fact, over the 3 months at $3,600, about $1,200 a month. If you could do $1,200 a month, that, you know, that's a lot of money. That's somebody's Social Security check or somebody's mortgage payment and taxes or whatever. And I talked about the reason for that was that I wasn't paid for the time that I was in the trade for the amount of risk that I took. I had to put up a substantial amount of money in order to make that. Although my profit target was $8,000, I didn't make it. And when I got to the point where I was in profit, well, I was in profit a couple of $1,000s 2 or 3 times during that trade, and I didn't take that profit. I let it go back against me because I knew that eventually things were going to work out and go in my favor. You can't say that you know that. I don't know that. But based on my experience, I had confidence that my initial plan was going to work out. The problem is you don't exactly know when. And that was the issue that I brought out in that video, is because you don't know when something is going to happen. You may know what's going to happen, but you can't put your bets on what's going to happen. You only put your bet down when it's happening. And I think that's really key. I've talked about that before in many videos. I call them anticipatory trades. Well, it's going to go here. And so you put your money on the line. But you don't know when that's going to happen. Nobody knows when that's going to happen. So when it happens, you say, well, I'm looking for this 30 pip profit. Well, I hate to tell you, but you're going to have to let that go 10 pips in that direction to prove that the price has the juice to get there. And then you get on board. And so I wasn't grousing about it, but I was just a statement of fact that I didn't feel that I was paid for the time that I was in the trade. I made 2% a month on my risk for that. And so you say, well, you know, 2% a month, that's 24% on your money a year. And you only have to make, you know, 4 of those trades a year. Yeah, but when the potential is there to make so much more money, and of course I had some comments on that video about, well, you know, you're so smart, you should have made, you know, blah, 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 you could be up. Excuse me. So I'm here today, not but a few days after that last video, talking about how less time makes more money. So in the last five days, I've traded, no, the last 7 days, I've traded, I think 3 times. And I've made $2,800 net in 3 days. So I made 3/4 of what I made in 3 months in 3 days. It wasn't one trade, it was 3 trades. So those of you who, and I appreciate the emails, thank you very much for sending emails, but I don't need the criticism when you really don't understand what I'm talking about. You're dealing in your reference frame, and you're not understanding trading the way it needs to be explained to you. And so, should I have sat with that trade for 3 months? No. Should I have let that trade go against me for as much as I did? No. But as Jesse Livermore says, you have to stay in that trade based on your conviction, because you don't want to lose your position. I could have got out with a $3,000 or a $4,000 or $5,000 loss, and I would have lost my position. You could say, well, you can always get back in. Well, yeah, but I took the 36. I would have taken a $4,000, $5,000 loss. And because so much time had gone by, perhaps the initial point where I took the trade, where the analysis said you should take the trade, maybe those conditions had changed. Of course those conditions had changed. And so as I've been looking and managing that trade during that period of time, I was looking at those. Now I'm losing $1,200. Now I'm losing $60. Now I'm in profit at $200. Let's take the 200 and run. Because if I made $200 a day, that would be really good. Yeah, but I'd held the trade at that point for maybe 20 days. So you make $200 in 20 days. Well, you still made the $200, but you're not paid for the risk. So when you do it right, you get out, and it's painful to get out. I mean, I took a couple of trades, and I was out a couple of $100. And went back in, and boom, there was a $400 profit for that day, $600 profit for that day, less the couple of hundred that I had lost out. So there's a $400 profit there. I made $400 today, 15 minutes. So time is critical. Time is more important than the money. And the less time that you spend in front of that computer looking at that screen, the less likely you are to make an anticipatory trade, the less likely you are to get frustrated at yourself you sit there and you make a trade and it doesn't go in your favor, and you get out, and you do that a few times, and you start feeling crappy about yourself. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe my system is wrong. Maybe if the bear wouldn't have stopped his shit in the woods, the hunter wouldn't have seen him to shoot him. Maybe. If. But you can't do that. The last 4 days that I traded, or whatever I said that they were, I don't even remember. I don't care. I go in, I turn the box on in the morning, and I look at it. If there's nothing there, I go on and do other things. I'll leave the platform open, but I'm not going to probably place trades during certain time periods of the day, because there's the pairs are slowing down. Maybe I got stuff that I want to do, and so I'm not trading. I'm looking at the screen now, and there's a potential trade that's going to set up. So I'm busy doing laundry, and I got other stuff that I'm doing, and getting on with my day. I'm writing a computer programming application, and I'm about 50 hours into that. So I got a lot of stuff that I'm doing. I'm having a great time. I don't need to sit in front of that computer. If there's something going to happen, I've got the skills and the rules that I can say, it's happening now. I get in, boom, 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 boom. Oh, this is what I did yesterday. I waited and sat around and watched the thing, and like, oh, there it is. It's happening. It's happening. I've missed, 10 or 12 points of it, pips of it. So I sat there and I, boom, go in with a lot. Okay, boom, go in with another one. It's going in my favor. Boom, go in with 2 more. Boom, go in with another one. So I staggered them in, and the thing just dragged its way through, and I had a profit target in mind, but I wasn't wed to that. There was $440 of profit, and then it went back up, and I was down at $200 of profit, then went down to $500, then went back up to $4, and went back to $3, and came back down to $430. Boom, close all. I'm done. I don't, that kind of bouncing around, that doesn't indicate to me that there's any continuing momentum. So I got out with $435 of profit. And if I would have stayed with that trade and walked away to have dinner and whatever than that, I would have lost money on the trade. And in fact, if I would have just done a carry trade, I looked at the position this morning, and with the size I was carrying, if I would have just not ignored it, I'd be $3,600 down. So I only do things when they're happening, and I can't be wed to what I think it's going to do. What is it doing? And as long as it continues to do that, I'll back the truck up and load up more lots into it. But when it stops, hesitates, pauses, I'm out of there. I don't care whether I've stacked up and I've got $100 profit and it's just starting to wiggle. I take the $100. I mean, if I can make $100 a day, 5 days a week, that's $500 a week. That's $30,000 a year. Come on, let's be reasonable about this and balance the amount of money that you're trying to make per unit time that you want to spend sitting there. If you want to sit there for 8 hours with your finger on the trigger, I mean, I'm retired. I could do that. I don't want to do that. And you're probably not retired. And even if you were, you probably wouldn't want to sit there all day and trade. Now, there's a lot of guys out there that are very successful. They put the trades on, and they set their limits and stops, and they can walk away and have lunch because they've got their stops set. But the trade goes way against them. And they plan on that happening. I plan on it happening too, but I don't want to be there when it's doing that because I've lost too much money. There's certain people that know how to time that kind of thing, and they're very good in their conviction and how far the price will run against them, and they're safe with that because the 1 or 2 times that they're going to lose out of the 6 or 8 that they're going to win, it's minuscule. Most of us don't have that kind of win-to-loss ratio. And we don't have the skill to just set limit orders and walk away and let the thing do its thing. So don't fight it. So how long do you need to trade a day? I don't know. You're not going to make more money sitting at the computer longer. You're going to make money based on the size of the account that you have. I'm sorry, that's just the way that it is. If you're poor and broke, I'm sorry, you're not going to make $300 a day. You're going to have a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 account to do that. Probably not that much, but pretty close. I mean, look, if you're pretty good and have some experience, and it isn't so much the experience, it's the discipline to cut the loss and get out and take 2 losses in a row and go, whoa, wait a minute, maybe I got this entry thing wrong, and walk away. But when you see the thing happening, boom, then drop your whole load in there, wait for 15 minutes, and it's over. You got your 8 or 10 pips for the day, or whatever, maybe 0.5% of your bank is. You know, if you're trading $1,000 and you make $5, that's 0.5%, right? Well, if you had a $100,000 account, it'd be $500. $500 a day. Figure out what that is. That's $100,000 a year. 80,000, 60,000, 70,000. If you're banging away at 5 pips, which is just 0.5% per 1,000 that you trade. There's nothing I can do to help you if you don't have any money and you're grousing about that and you're trying to pay your rent with your trading. If your bank isn't big enough, you're not going to be able to do that. But what you should be able to do is learn your craft, to study it with that $1,000 account where the losses don't mean anything. Say you lose 10 bucks a day, you lose 20 bucks. You're learning. What do you want to do? You want to do it like me and lose $40,000 when you start out trying to mimic what you were doing in a friggin' simulated account? I thought I knew what I was doing. I got a degree in physics. I'm software engineer for 33 years, real estate investment for 40 years, lost $40,000 until I went, whoa, wait a minute. What we're seeing out there in the educational world is people selling stuff to you that's not going to work for you. It could work for them, but because they don't know how to educate, they don't know how to show you what they're doing, and so they they rely on talking about these stupid indicators and bat fucking patterns and all the other crap that goes with it. How are you going to learn? You go on your own and do it yourself with a $1,000 account. Don't be trading with $100. You're just wasting your time. That's like playing penny poker. You're not going to learn anything. You get drunk and you play penny poker and you don't care. But you put $1,000 up and you make, you make five pips, make $5 a day, 0.5% on your account. If you could do that consistently, at some point in your life, you'll have it at $10,000 or you'll have $20,000. And then you can start to accumulate more money. You can't take money out of the account and spend it. You've got to use that to compound. And if you really know what you're doing and you compound, boy, you got the whale by the tail. Then you can take that $20,000 account and you can really make some juice with it. But by then you'll have the skill to learn how to do the compounding. I'm just amazed at the number of people that are teaching out there that are trying to get the people that are less than 400 trades or 500 trades under their belt to compound. It's fine if you have somebody standing there holding your hand and walking you through it. But when you're on your own in the dark of night, you're going to get creamed. You really are. You got to really be careful about what you're doing. This is money. It's life-changing money. Either because you're going to make a lot of it and you can quit your day job, or because you lose it all and then you're really screwed. Be very careful about that. And don't worry about sitting in front of the computer, and don't worry about doing these long position trades. You know, if you're in the stock market, yeah, carry the stocks for a couple of years or something like that, or 6 months or a year or whatever, because you're looking for capital gains, tax treatment, and all that other kind of stuff in a year. But I don't think currency trading or futures or options are something that you're going to do, that you're going to want to hold for days or months on end. You got to play by what's on the field. If the field is muddy, you're going to play differently than if the field is dry, right? Well, take a look at the field that you're playing, and take a look at the bank that you have, which is your equipment, and then take a look at your skill at using the equipment, and determine what's a reasonable percent return when you sit down at the table to play. Are you going to make 4% on your bank every time you sit down to trade? I don't think so. You know, you got to make 40 pips to make on a $1,000 account to make that 4%. 40 pips. You might be able to do 40 pips if you're really skilled and do that scalping or over 4 or 5 or 8 trades, but you're not going to sit there and go in and let her ride and you're going to get 40 pips. Every now and then that's going to happen. But you can't count on that happening. You really can't. You need to understand the probabilities that regulate all activity in nature. And be happy with that $5 a day. Every day. And then the problem isn't in trading and being consistent and making money. The problem then becomes, how can I get more money to back the truck up and load into this account so that I can really start making a difference in my lifestyle. Whether that you're looking to replace your job income or you're simply looking to build wealth. It's a wonderful market. It's too bad there's so many scammers that are out there, and you see in the comments of some of these trading videos out there, these idiots are doing, Mrs. Jane was so good, and my crypto account is doubled in 6 months, or I just made $3,000. It's just all bullshit. You have to be very careful about what you're reading in those comments, about what people are doing and what's realistic, and the difference between a scam and something that's real. People that comment in the videos that look like reply comments from the person who did the video, but it's a fake picture and it's a fake link to a dummy account. Oh, here, call this WhatsApp number and, blah, 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 blah. Why do you think YouTube pulls that stuff off and doesn't allow you to do that? It's very difficult to find these people. They just close their YouTube account, open another one. There's, it isn't bad with me because nobody can duplicate what I'm doing. And I'm not going to have huge subscriber base, because how many serious people out there are going to listen to me and benefit from that when everybody is out there telling you can make 2% on your money a day? It's just stupid. I can't compete with that lie. Well, I'm not going to, and I hope you don't feel that you need to either. Because less time in front of the screen is going to make you more money if you understand entry analysis. Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. Have a great day and have a great trading day.